Hello, this is Clare Dubois with session 10. Oh my god. 10 of these now, all scooting off down the Tree Sisters Facebook page. It's Sunday and we've just passed 900,000 trees a year. That is 900,000, over 900,000 actually, quite a lot over, that 4 weeks ago didn't exist in this world and are now lining themselves up as a monthly gift of, I think it's over 75,000 trees back to the planet, back to Brazil and India and Madagascar and Kenya. And to all of you who've been coming on in the last 48 hours, there's so many of you who've become Tree Sisters and Tree Brothers. Your generosity means the world to us and will change the face of this world. So thank you for recognizing the privilege of restoring our beloved planet. Thank you for taking action, for doing something about it. It really, really matters. Every single one of you, it really matters. So in session 9, the last session, I spoke about balance, the balance of the masculine and the feminine, and how the feminine has to come first for the masculine to make any sense. How we need to put life back at the center of everything that we do so that our actions make sense in relationship to our environment. And in the one before that, session 8, I talked about collective momentum, about how we have this sort of unconscious default going on that is like being caught in a very strong current that is carrying us over the edge of a cliff and will just carry us off the edge of a cliff unless we choose to wake up. And so these sessions that I'm doing are all my sort of different experiments in what might work, you know, all the things that I've been going through or thinking over years to try and feel for what would make the difference. You know, how can we position this? Because we've got this brilliant ability to have the facts come at us and go, la, 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 you know, it's not, I'm just not going to let this in because I don't know what to do about it. And part of that is because we don't have a plan, which is why I've had to create a plan, Reforest the Planet. Very simple to do. All of us giving money every month. There's plenty of infrastructure around the tropical zones where there are projects needing money. We just need to get it to them, all of us, fast. But it got me thinking about a question that I was asked before doing a conference in Glastonbury a few years ago, which was, why do you do what you do? You know, why do you step out and try? Why did you become a front person when you're, you know, a natural introvert? Why, you know, why this whole journey? And, you know, I can go easily down the path of, because I love this world so much, because I cannot bear to see the harm done, because, you know, all the reasons why I grieve for the lost species or the lost forests or the lost weather or the lost everything. And I thought, yeah, that's my love. My love is extremely strong and my love has carried me forward. But actually, for me, it's been a lot to do with fear. And, you know, fear is what has us go, la, 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 I'm just not going to listen. You know, I'm not going to look, because we don't know how to deal with our fear. And we're going to have to deal with our fear. And wouldn't it be better to deal with it ahead of complete catastrophe, where it just takes over and we live in a state of it continually, versus just not dealing with anything and then slamming into it. So I'm not a very robust creature. I'm a brave creature, but I'm not a very robust creature. I don't do well when I'm cold, or I'm too hot, or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, or I'm feeling threatened, or I'm unsafe, you know, and that's the world we're heading for. And so I started thinking about, you know, how do I communicate where we're going? What am I afraid of in my life that other people would relate to? So I was thinking, well, I'm terrified in bad turbulence on aeroplanes, really terrified. I cry. I get, you know, it's just not natural to me being in a tin can hurling through the air at that speed. I never understand how we land safely. But the thing about turbulence is that it ends. You know, well, either you fall out of the sky and everything ends, or the turbulence ends. It's like it's a momentary thing. So then I was thinking, okay, being on a horse out of control, when a horse goes completely ballistic, which has also happened to me, and I've come off and fractured a spine. And but again, you know, I came off, it ended. That was another thing that is extremely frightening. And then there's road rage, you know, being in a car with a man who suddenly needs to become all competitive and drives off at 100 miles an hour and scares the crap out of me. Again, it's horrendous in the moment, but it ends. You know, most of the things that we face in our life end, but that's not how it's going to be with climate change. It isn't going to end. It's just going to get worse. So before this conference, I was thinking, you know, how do I say this differently to all these people? So I got up on stage and I said, how many of you have been in really crap relationships? Like crap relationships, the sort of relationship where the person that you're with is completely emotionally unpredictable. I call them eggshell relationships, where you're sort of creeping around trying to figure out what version of yourself you have to be to make that other person happy, or at least not triggered, not reactive, because you never know how they're going to be. And so, you know, to try and keep things sort of calm and level, you end up compromising yourself and, you know, trying to figure out how to arrange circumstances to basically ensure that there is some relaxation and sanity. And I was amazed. Almost everyone in the room put their hand up. And everyone's looking kind of sheepish. And I was thinking, yeah, I just got out of an appalling relationship that I'd stayed in far too long. And why do we do that? And we know there's many, many reasons. But in it, what I was aware of was I'm choosing to be in a state with this person where I can never relax. I can never actually be myself properly because I never know how things are going to be. And if I'm not on red alert, and if I'm not consistently trying to feel for what's going to make him happy, then all hell could break loose at any point. That is a relationship within which the nervous system, my nervous system, was consistently stressed. It's a stressed state. And we all have a primary relationship. And I'm not talking about your mother or your husband or your children. I'm talking about the mother who takes care of us, the mother that actually birthed us, the mother that we're made out of, the mother that is breathing us every day. She is our primary relationship. And, you know, I mean, climate change hit England. The snow stopped coming when I was 10. That's a long time ago. We didn't recognize what it was, but it's been changing for a long time. That mother that is holding us all, as we strip her, as we mine her, as we deforest her, as we take away the mechanisms that she needs in order to stabilize herself, in order to keep the hydrological systems functioning and flowing, she's losing the ability to regulate herself. That's like a mother that is just being consistently abused, but we expect her to keep just carrying on providing for us in a way that's really going to make sense, which I spoke to very strongly in session 2, if you scroll off down the page, in the theatrical piece I did of The Rape of the Planet. And so wouldn't it be nice if we could take our mother for granted? Wouldn't it be nice if, as in 50 years ago or 100 years ago, we could count on the seasons because that's the planet that we're living on. She has her own systems in place. She can handle us. We're not that destructive. And then since the Industrial Revolution and since our population has just spiraled out of control, there's more and more and more of us. We're stripping her faster and faster and faster. She's deregulating. That's our responsibility. But the reality is, when she loses the plot, and she's losing the plot, she's not going to be able to get it back again. You can't put a planet into therapy. You know, there is going to be, you know, once the permafrost is, I mean, really the permafrost is already doing its thing and methane release is already happening, and that's 72 times more heat trapping than carbon dioxide. The feedback loops that are spiraling us out of control are already all underway. And yesterday at the Bioneers conference, I listened to an extremely depressed Bill McGibbon, who runs 350.org, standing there looking like he just wanted to fall on the floor and cry, saying, you know, we've just had the 2 hottest months on record ever, July and August, and we've got the least sea ice ever. And that means a lot to me because the ice, the northern ice of the Arctic, the balance of that ice, freshwater and saltwater, really is fundamental to the Gulf Stream, which keeps England temperate. And nobody's saying, well, you know, it could happen in 5 years, it could happen in 10. It could happen in our lifetime that the Gulf Stream stops and we plunge into another ice age up there. I don't want that to happen. I can't bear the idea of that happening. I'm afraid of that happening. But you can say, oh, well, we'll move south. Well, the problem is the weather is going to go ballistic everywhere. So this is my question. Have you chosen your mother? Because we've got 2 parents standing up ahead of us right now. 2 mothers to choose from. One is one that we have gone, oh my God, we've woken up, quick, let's do everything we can, all hands on deck to re-rope her in her forest that she needs to cool herself down because we can't figure out how to stop our carbon emissions immediately. We can do it fast, we're not doing it, but we could do it fast, but we can start drawing that carbon out of the atmosphere and plonking it into trees rather than into the oceans and into warming everything up and destroying everything. We can. That mother has a chance of re-regulating herself and being able to provide for us in the way that we need her to in order to survive. The other mother is the one that we're heading for. In the momentum session, session 8, that default setting of bigger, better, faster, more that we're on, we're going straight towards mother number 2, who is pretty much psychotic. She's the relationship that you don't want to have. She's eggshells all the time. She is completely unpredictable. We won't know what's happening with our seasons. We won't know what's happening with our rainfall. If we don't know what's happening with our rainfall, we don't know what's happening with our food. We do not know how we're going to feed ourselves with the mother that's coming. Nobody's screaming about it, or at least the environmentalists are, but it's like, la la la, same thing. We don't want to hear. We have to hear. We have to hear where we're going. We have to see with our eyes open and make some different choices. Here's the choice. Do you want to leave your children or your grandchildren in the hands of a psychotic mother? Do you want to leave your children and your grandchildren in the hands of a mother who cannot just not provide for them, but is also becoming increasingly violent? I'm afraid of horrendous storms, tornadoes, waves that wipe out everything. I'm afraid of cities being blasted like we've just seen in Haiti. We should all be afraid of them. We are a species that longs to be comfortable. We're proving that with every single thing that we're consuming. So we need to face the reality of severe discomfort that's coming our way. So I want us all to choose our mother. I want it to be a conscious choice. Have you chosen your mother? Mother number 1 or mother number 2? A mother that can take care of your children after you're gone, or a mother that is going to be absolutely terrifying? Because here's the thing. If you make a choice for mother number 1, if you make a choice to try and put everything you can into restoring our world in such a way that your children actually face an adulthood that is even bearable to consider, it's going to be nothing like ours. Nothing like what's come before. We've gone too far. But if you don't make a choice, if you go into, oh, there's that nutcase Claire talking about trees again, and you don't make a choice, it's a choice. It's a really powerful choice. To not choose is to choose mother number 2. To not make a choice is to say, nah, I'm fine with the default setting. I'm going to just carry on with the collective momentum straight over the edge of the cliff. In which case, okay, but admit it to yourself. That's what I want us all to start doing. Not just to go default setting, oh, I'm just going to wait until somebody else does something that's going to make the difference and carry on as normal. Actually say, you know what, my conscious choice is for the default setting, is to just say, I don't care what happens to my children and my grandchildren. If that's your choice, own up to it inside of yourself and face how that makes you feel, and then see if that choice stays. And yes, I'm being thoroughly confrontational, but I've just spent 2 days at a conference listening to the havoc of our planet and everybody going, what's it going to take to make a difference? What's it going to take to make a difference? It's going to take choices, really powerful choices. And my request is that you make one right now. If you haven't become a tree sister, if you haven't said, yes, I will do everything I can, I will give everything I can to get the carbon out of the atmosphere and into trees, please make that choice. Please make that choice. All of us giving money for fast-growing tropical trees every month can make a difference incredibly fast. It's the one thing that can. We don't want it going into our oceans. If our coral reefs die, and we're all hearing about it, that's the bottom of the food chain, our oceans will die. We can't let that happen. We don't have to make it happen. We just need to make a choice. So please, please, choose to make giving money for fast-growing tropical trees every month literally part of the air that you breathe. Please go to milliontreescampaign.com or the Tree Sisters website and just join. If you have trouble donating, let us know. Just write to support@treesisters.org. We're having difficulty with the donation system, but don't let it stop you. Please, from your heart, find that biggest gift, biggest monthly gift that plugs you into everything that you love, that says, yes, I am a stand for what I love. I am a stand for restoring what I love. I have chosen my mother, and the mother that I've chosen is one that we have tended back to balance. Please, please care enough to make this gesture on behalf of the life that lives you. With all my gratitude, and the gratitude of the whole Tree Sisters team, and no doubt the gratitude of the trees who breathe us every day. Please join us.